Yeah, when we talk amounts of winter precipitation, you think a quarter of an inch of snowfall. Well, that's not going to be too impactful, but a quarter of an inch of ice accumulating on some surfaces, well, that's going to make for very dangerous roads and also multiple instances of power outages. In fact, just a tenth of an inch of ice accumulated in an area is going to make for a glaze on some surfaces, especially on those elevated roadways. Bridges always going to ice first, so that would be what we would be worried about in that instance. But then we just double it up to 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulated on regions. That's where we would likely start to see isolated power outages, the ice weighing down on those power lines, taking it out for some people, hazardous roadways for many, bump it up to a third of an inch or just over a quarter of an inch. Yeah, that's where we start to see very dangerous roadway conditions across the entire region that's impacted, as well as at that point it's heavy enough, the ice is, to take down a couple tree limbs out there on top of the already falling power lines. Finally, you see instances of up to a half an inch of ice accumulating in one area or more. That is just going to be extreme widespread damage to both the power lines in the area. The roadways are just going to be impossible to travel on. And then at that point, heavy enough, that ice, that it could potentially even start knocking down trees. And that is why, with the possibility of impacting both travel and power outages, freezing rain, sleet, any icy condition is going to be much more impactful than a typical snow chance here in our region. So something to keep in mind as we go towards the weekend with the chance for a wintry mix. Of course, it's always important to be precautious and stay weather aware.